Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, coming to you with a tools that don't suck video. Doing this video sort of out of a viewer request. In a lot of our videos you can see this English wheel in the background of the videos, and I often get questions about what it is, where it came from, why the hell is it painted so funny, and I figured I'd do a quick little video on this to kind of show you guys and tell you a quick little story about it. So this English wheel is a 1940s era, from what I can kind of gather, F.J. Edwards English wheel. This is actually a wheel that true English wheel, cast wheel, so it's very big, very heavy, but this is kind of the iconic style English wheel that all the modern day wheels are made off of. This wheel came to me in kind of a unique way, so I was looking for, as I was basically about to buy the shop and my property, I was looking for a larger English wheel that I could do larger panels like roof inserts, doors, quarter panels, things like that, that my smaller wheel wouldn't do. And I was looking for one of these old cast wheels because I like stuff that's old. And I was having a little bit of trouble finding one. I went out to the LA Roadster show and I visited with Gene Winfield to see what he was up to and check out his place. And he had a F.J. Edwards wheel there that he had some of his guys stripping the old paint off. They were going to restore it and kind of put it on display in the shop. And I, of course, fell in love with it. And he didn't want to sell it. Gene doesn't often sell much except for parts and things that he likes to buy and sell, but stuff like this he doesn't really sell too often. So fast forward probably a month past that, and there actually might even have been a few weeks, we were doing a class here in my area at the Pottstown Eastwood retail location. He and I were kind of tag teaming a metal workshop that Gene teaches and I was sort of helping with, and one of the guys that was taking the class mentioned to Gene that he had an old friend that passed away that had a large F.J. Edwards English wheel in the estate. So Gene disappeared for half an evening, came back to my house and said, I need your help to move an English wheel. And we basically negotiated, made some dealings, and he agreed to sell me this English wheel for basically the cost that he bought the other wheel for, that was a little nicer, had some restored wheels with it, etc., and I got this wheel. He also agreed to paint this wheel at the same time that he was painting a Buick Riviera for some guys in Japan. He was painting a Buick Riviera with one of his custom fades, and I joked with him, hey, with all the hassle of me shipping this other wheel for you, you should paint my wheel. So he kind of surprised me and painted this wheel at the same time he was painting the Riviera. So he would do a coat on the Riviera, he would turn around, do the same kind of coat on the wheel, and this ended up with basically a free paint job with leftover paint they had, which was pretty awesome. So the wheel, since I've gotten it, my buddy Matchstick that works and helps out Gene, he was nice enough to build this pallet stand for it. The wheel was sat really low originally, so he put it on this kind of pedestal, and that's how we shipped it. The really nice thing is that you can put a pallet jack underneath of it and move it. So as my shop changes, like when we put the lift in, we actually had to jack it up with the pallet jack and slide it back a few feet so that I could get a little more space around the wheel. So that was a big thing, so that we could get it to a good working height for me, and also so we can move it around. I had the top wheel reground, so when I got the wheel, it came with all the original wheels with it, and this wheel probably sat around for quite a while before Gene got his hands on it. And the top wheel was pitted a little bit, it was a little uneven, and I had the top wheel reground and make it perfectly flat and straight and true. And the lower wheels, I kind of polished them up a little bit. They could use a little bit of truing, but they work well for me for now. I just have to get a time where I could send the wheels out for a few weeks or a month and get them done. I just haven't taken the time yet. But really unique how these wheels work. They have a lower wheel here that has this little handle that you put in the little slots, and that's how you tighten it or loosen it. It also has some adjustments here on the shaft that you can lock the wheel with this little piece here. It also has a bolt down here that you can tighten to actually tip the wheel up and down, which is really neat. And yeah, otherwise it's pretty much as used, other than the paint job, but it served me really well. The nice thing about having a heavy cast wheel like this is you can crush welds. You can do a lot of other features that a wheel that flexes a lot cannot do, but a cast wheel does actually have some flex built into it, which is something some people don't realize. So it does need a little bit of flex to help with how predictable it is when you're using it. You don't want a wheel that is so solid that there is absolutely no flex. So it is nice to have that little bit of flex to it, but it's very minimal. You wouldn't really notice it in general use. I also have some other specialty wheels that came with it that are narrow and different for different uses that I use every now and then, but mainly I just use the handful, the full set that's on the back. I made a little rack actually the first day that Andrew came to work for me. I had him basically make that rack. I kind of gave it as his first project and we together worked on it, and it's pretty cool that it's kind of a staple of the shop. So that is my vintage FJ Edwards wheel, and a quick little story on how I came into this wheel, and it's probably one of my favorite tools in the shop because A, it's so handy, and B, the story behind it is really cool, and I love the history of that. All right, so that's all we have for tools that don't suck. As always, we do videos on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Make sure you drop us a comment down below what you think, and hit that subscribe button. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.